So what if you're stuck on an island? There's no connection from the mainland. There's absolutely no escape way. And that is not the worst part. The worst part is you're stuck with this guy. Let's call him Donnie. So Donnie, I'm sure you're not able to recognize who's that. He's a bit orange in color, as you can see. He's got little hands. Let's not get into Donnie. So you have to escape the island. You're supposed to escape this. You have a friend, Millie. This island, as you know, is not very good for the kids, and you're a kid. So of course you gotta escape. And the only way you can escape is the sea route. So you both decided to make a wooden boat that you're gonna take and cross the ocean and reach the mainland. That is what you're gonna do. But there are certain problems. There are certain calculations that you'll need to do on your way. And there are huge calculations, multiplications, divisions. Why? The distance you're covering, you're crossing an ocean. There must be what? There must be wind speed. You need to take all this into account when you're crossing. You've just a small boat that is handmade using those palm trees on the island. You know that island is famous for the palm trees and a lot of other things as well. So yeah, so you have this boat, and when you were planning to do this escape, you encounter calculations like 432,417 multiplied by 347,818, anything. Such big calculations. So how are you going to do this? Like, in the midst of the chaos of this ocean, you're not going to start multiplying, will you? So you'll have to find some way. So your friend Millie, she is smart. She says if the numbers are a power of 10, these numbers, keep them as big but as powers of 10, like this. What is this? This is 10 to the power 5. Or you can take some other bigger number, 10 to the power 6, 7. Then it is not so hard, not at all hard to multiply them. We are facing problems in these. We are taking a lot of time in multiplying these. But for this, you have to do just add the powers. You have 10 to the power 11 and you can write the result. It's very easy. So from that, she decides to write all those big numbers as powers of 10, because that would make them easier to multiply. That would make it easier to do all those calculations in the chaos of the ocean, right? So she started from small numbers, let's say 53. So 53, as you can see, is less than 100, greater than 10. What is this? 10 to power 1, and this is 10 to power 2, right? So 53, if I write this as some power of 10, then you should be able to observe that this a would be what? A should lie between 2 and 1. Why? Because 53 lies between 10 to the power 2 and 20 to the power 1. So this way we got, and as you can see, a is not integral. It's not an integer. So let's say it's some rational number. Let's assume a to be p by q, where p and q belong to z, which is the set of integers. So now we'll write 53 as 10 to the power p by q, right? Now to make it easier, I'll raise both the sides to the power q. So I can write 53 to power q equals 10 to power p, right? So after a lot of calculations, we have to see what power of 53, what power 53 should be raised to, so that it gets as closer as possible to some power of 10. We found out when we did using manual calculations. You were doing it on the island, all right, along with Millie. So 53 to the power 7, you manually calculated this. You got 1174 711,139,837. Wow. So if you compare with the powers of 10, I'm just gonna put as many zeros. So you must be thinking this is not as close, but believe me, this is close. This is the closest. All right. So this is like 1,100 billions, this one, and this is 1,000 billions. So it's pretty close. It's pretty close. So we'll write 53 to power 7 approximately equals to 10 to the power, what is it? 12. So we've got our value of q to be 7 and value of p to be 12 from here, right? So as in the beginning we said 53 is 10 to the power p by q. That means 53 is 10 to the power 12 by 7, which is 1.72. This we got. They decided, you and Millie, what did you decide? You decided to convert every number 37, every random number 38, 39, all these numbers exactly like this, to convert them into powers of 10, 10 power something. And you found out that 37 is like 10 power 1.56, exactly like this process. 38 is 10 power 1.57, 39 is 10 power 1.59, exactly like this. And you started noting them down. You started making table. So from 1 to all the numbers you could, all right, you made these tables, these values that you found out, the powers basically, the powers 1.56, 1.57, 1.5. These are the important numbers. This is what you have done all the struggle for, right? So you started writing down. So these are the numbers, normal numbers, and you started writing in what power of 10 can you express them. You started calling this as corresponding numbers. Corresponding numbers. So corresponding number for 53 you found out was 1.72. For 37 you found out was 1.56. Now in Millie's country, she was European. Nobody knows how she got there. She was stuck there. Well, I guess all of us know. Anyways, this is corresponding numbers. So she said in her country, in her language, they call corresponding as logos and numbers as arithmos. So we're gonna call this logos arithmos instead, these numbers. Alright. And finally, after calculating, after doing a lot of calculations, we realized 432417, the number we had to multiply in the beginning, is 10 power 5.62. And the other one, 347818, is 10 power 5.54. Now, is it easy to multiply these two now? Instead of multiplying these two, we can multiply these two. And in order to multiply these two, we have to just add the powers. 10 to the power 5.62 plus 5.54, and we are done. We'll get a number here. We'll look for the number for this corresponding value, and we'll realize that is the product of these two numbers. Correct? So this was logos arithmos, and that was the beginning. You marked the beginning of logos plus arithmos. That means logarithms, the concept of logarithms. You did. These calculations took a decade. In reality, if you just get out of the island, all right, in reality it took 20 years to do. It was done by John Napier, these calculations. These made navigation and all these things a lot easier for everyone. So it was easy for you to now escape. So you escaped the island and you saw the mainland and you reached here, and then you meet another guy. You're happy. The guy tells his name is Jeff.